Hey, hello, welcome to VMware Explore. I'm Caio Oliveira. I'm a Brazilian based in São Paulo, Brazil. I've been in VMware 8 years. That's my 7th Explore slash VM World. And I will be having 7 sessions. So I know I'm in Vegas, potentially using 7 on the roulette might be good for me, right? So, well, my job at VMware, I'm a principal multi-cloud architect. So I work in a global multi-cloud, worldwide multi-cloud architecture and strategy team. Pretty much my job is to help customers on their multi-cloud posture, as well helping them how to navigate and create their multi-cloud journey, right? So today I'll be talking with one of the tools that I use the most, like that HCX. So I'll be talking about HCX. The agenda, pretty much I will do a really quick 2 slides overview about what's VMware Cloud for people that don't know, and then I will focus on HCX, right? So I like this slide. This is an old slide, especially for people that VMware, but this is kind of what we envisioned 5 years ago, more or less, 4 or 5 years ago, and we definitely landed. Like if you see everything that we built so far, right, when we talk about build, run, manage, connect, and protect any of your applications, any of workloads in the cloud, is definitely, that's for me the best definition what is our VMware Cloud, right? That's our complete portfolio for any multi-cloud journey, right? And going more towards a high-level overview, what do you have? Normally you have your data center, like with your traditional infrastructure, right? You have the compute pillar, storage pillar, and networking pillar. Normally everything based out of vSphere, you have vCenter, right? Running on your premises data center, right? Now you have the possibility as well to go to the cloud. You pretty much have the same, right? The same foundation, some VMware Cloud Foundation on any cloud, with the benefits that you can be in any of the hyperscalers or even any of our VCPP partners and leverage their services as well, right? What's the most important? Like, since we did that in the beginning of VMware, what we're good at, create abstraction. So you can move your applications around, right? And how you move it quickly and fast with reliability, that's where we're gonna talk about HCX. So, everything that I'm talking here is I got from this white paper. Kind of biased to say because I was one of the co-authors of this white paper, right? So, but I put a lot of effort, especially working with the BU on how to navigate with HCX to run on multiple clouds, right? So this is the link if you want to go to download. It's free. So let's talk about HCX multi-cloud best practices. A few of the slides I will be talking about is exactly about that. So if I need to summarize what's HCX, right? HCX is a migration tool. That's really important, right? HCX is a migration tool. I always try to repeat that for my customers and for the partners I work with, right? HCX is, I would say that there's a term in the market today that's lift and shift. Unfortunately, we don't have a RFC to define what lift and shift is. But if we have true lift and shift tool, definitely is HCX, right? Because I would say we don't have the Hotel California problem with HCX in any of our clouds, right? Hotel California, you let in, normally what you go, Hotel California, you can check in, but you can't check out. HCX let you do that. And here I'm talking anywhere to anywhere. So for example, I can migrate workloads from my data center to the cloud, from the cloud to the data center, or between clouds to cloud, right? HCX, inside HCX is composed by a lot of services, right? You have the hybrid interconnect that will be responsible for migrating the VMs. Inside you have one optimization to make those migrations faster. You have, of course, the possibility to do a vMotion with your applications. So you want to do a live migration, it will be possible with HCX. And you have also other things that I'll be talking during this session as well. And this is kind of the Goldilocks that we are looking for, right? HCX for multi-clouds, potentially you have your on-prem data center, like VCF on several clouds, so you might have VMware Cloud on AWS, any of our VCPP partners, AVS, Google Cloud, VMware Engine, or whatever, right? Of course, you'll not be moving your VMs all over like during the day. Potentially, yes, but this is more a corner case. The idea here is to actually provide a good multi-cloud strategy for you. For example, if you want to do a cloud-to-cloud cost management, depending on a specific period, the price of one cloud increases. So you potentially could move the workloads to another cloud or do some rebalancing, right? I was thinking when I was talking like a month ago, when the day when I was building this presentation, I had a meeting with my financial advisor. And I was talking about like an asset that I have there that I have like too much allocation. Say, man, you should diversify, right? Should not have problems. So that's a way for think about when you're creating your multi-cloud. You have a way to have access in different cloud depending on to lower risks, right? So this is one of the big advantages of HCX, right? You create this hybridity across your on-prem environment and the clouds, and you can secure also the extension of that, right? So, and how HCX do that, right? So, in a high level, HCX, you have a management component that will be tied to a data center, to a vCenter. This vCenter can be in the cloud or can be in any of our offerings on the cloud, right? So, it's the same product, but there's a small terminology. You have HCX connector when you have your data center, and HCX cloud when you're tied to the cloud, right? And then you establish a site pairing between those two, right? Important, HCX always is a one-to-one pairing, right? So, and this pairing can be run on top of like internet, if you have a VPN, or even if you have a private direct connectivity. Going more towards the components, right? So I explained the management plane. On the data plane, I would say what we call the service mesh. We have three main components. So it will always only be at least three. You can have more depending on the scale of the environment that you need, right? So you're going to have the IX. IX is the component that will be doing the migration, right? The one optimization, of course, optimize the traffic that will be traversing the tunnels. And you have also the network extension. So network extension provide you the capability to have a network in your on-prem data center or even in the cloud and extend to the other side of the pair, right? So this is really good because you don't need to think about potentially changing the IP or anything else, right, when you do the migration. It will remain with the same IP address that specific VM has. So, really important here, HCX has two licenses. The advanced one that pretty much has everything that I told you right now. So you have the capability of do the migrations, extend the networks. You have the one optimization. You can do vMotion migration and also cloud-to-cloud migration. When you need more enterprise features, right, there you can leverage the other features that HCX provide. So depending on the traffic management that you want, if you want to optimize, or if you want to have the combination between a bulk migration, right? Because here really important to just quickly talk about. When you do a live migration, it's a serialized one. So HCX will do one by one. If you need to do a bulk move, right, migrate more VMs at a time, you do a bulk migration. Both like vMotion and bulk migration are included in the advanced. But if you want to combine both, what's called replicated assisted vMotion, that's part of the enterprise license, right? And also, one of the big features that was requested for a long time that's now available is to have the appliance, the network extension appliance, to have high availability. So that's also part of the enterprise license, right? So here, I think that's one of the good slides that I had a lot of time to work on that and try to summarize it here. But when you're creating your multi-cloud environment, right, there's a lot of things that you need to consider, right? Especially if you are planning to do migration between the clouds, right? You have workloads everywhere, right? Having, for example, no overlapping subnets and segments between those environments, that's mandatory, right? We always recommend for you to have like the private connections, so leverage example, AWS Direct Connect or Azure Express route for you to migrate those clouds. That's always recommended. Of course, we support internet, but you'll be relying on internet to do those migrations. So potentially, you might have low latency, not low latency, high latency, and potentially lower speeds, right? So also, like when you think about your environment, normally you tend to, okay, I have my data center, I connect to my first cloud, right? Then you connect another cloud and you tie to your data center. Potentially your data center might be a bottleneck. So think about having what is here, what we call the cloud exchange provider to help you on that. So we get more reliability and also high availability for your environment, right? Also, when you consider about HCX, you can always do a source. You always have a source and a destination, and those could be the same, right? So when you're pairing, everything is supported. So you can have, like for example, GCV as a source, VMC as a destination, and the opposite as well. But depending on, especially when GCV used as a source, you might need to open a ticket support to enable that. So that's important when you're doing. And another thing as well, right? We have the VMs. Those VMs are hosted in different servers with different CPUs. So if you plan or you have the need to do a live migration, you have to consider that this VM that will potentially go to another host have the capability to support the CPU instructions, right? So it's good that we support per VM EVC, right? But when you deploy that VM that you're gonna live migrate, so for bulk migration, that's kind of not important, but for live migration, you should think about this matrix of compatibility and put that VM on the EVC compatibility mode, right? And last point is, so when you think about networking, standing networks all over the clouds, potentially you'll have your data center, you have a VLAN there or an overlay there that you want to, that VLAN go to several clouds, right? You need to think about avoiding potential disruption. And as a networking specialist, I think there are a few here, so we don't want to have loops in our networks, right? So here you have to be aware, because if you, for example, I extend like VLAN 100 to AWS, to VMC on AWS, and then I extend the same network from a data center to GCV, for example, and then I'd like to extend that same network from GCV to AWS, I potentially will have a bottleneck, right? So when you're considering doing your HCX design, you have to think about that, right? And to finish here, right, I showed you because HCX is always, as I mentioned, a pair, right? You always have to be management the pairs, right? I pair in my data center with VMC, I pair in my data center with GCV and AVS together, right? If you want to have that management piece not on your data center or have a holistic view of everything, we now have introduced the HCX Plus. It's part of our VMware Cloud Services that all this management piece, so everything on that can be managed through HCX Plus. So depending on if you have like a big environment or even a medium environment, so there's a lot of benefits for you to leverage HCX Plus, right? So that finished my 15 minutes. I know that was a quick session, but I would like to quickly show the power and the potential that HCX has. And I think like if you are considering a multi-cloud strategy for your company, definitely HCX will be a tool that you're going to be using. Well, thank you.